Welcome back to Broncos Beat. Guys, the Broncos are coming off a frustrating loss to the Atlanta Falcons, but as we move on to mid-season grades, let's widen the scope and take into consideration the 8-game sample size that we have now that the Broncos have reached the halfway point of the season. While this team is incredibly banged up and has had to deal with a number of COVID-19 protocol predicaments, I know this team wouldn't want us to use any of those factors as excuses for their 3-5 record. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and start with the offense. Cecil, how would you grade him?
D minus. No, not that bad. Maybe C minus if I'm being a little bit nicer, because everything that we've seen from young players, let's say like Jerry Jeudy, breakout game, right, against the Falcons, could have happened week 1, could have happened week 2, could have used him the right way. I think we're seeing a disconnect offensively because there is some talent. Certainly injuries and COVID and no preseason, all those sorts of things. Yes, every team's dealing with it. But I look around the league, I see other young offenses, I see other young quarterbacks, I see other young talent that's coming through. So with the Broncos, like, you have talent, you have a great assembly of young talent on the offensive side of the ball. You're not utilizing all of them correctly yet. We've seen flashes with each individual. A Noah Fant flash quite a bit, Jerry Jeudy flash, as I mentioned, but it's got to be more consistent. So C minus just because I'm feeling nice. But there's more there. I hope it gets unlocked in the second half of the season.
I'll go C. I'll go up a little bit from Cecil, because what I do like is, and Cecil hit the nail on the head when he said consistency. That's been the biggest issue with this offense, because I talk to other coaches around the league and they know I live here, and they'll say, man, I look at that offense, I think there's talent. I really do. And that's from some of the other guys around, around the NFL. What I do believe is they're now getting an opportunity, this young group, to play some meaningful snaps. And I thought that was the biggest thing that they could get out of this season. They've come up short in some of these comebacks. Last week they were able to do it, couldn't do it this week. But meaningful snaps with the game on the line for such a young group, the youngest skill position group in the NFL, to me, getting those opportunities and making plays at times there, I give them a C. But I want to see more plays there. But I think the more opportunities they get, the more they'll grow.
I give him a B. I mean, I think it was an admirable performance. KJ Hamler had a great game. Noah Fant had a tough game. He's battling through injuries. And then also you look at the development of Drew Lock still being able to win games. I mean, they had a shot in the fourth quarter, and that's what you want.
Okay, let's move on to the defense. Cecil, start with you. What do you think?
The defense gets a B plus because we look at just operating without Von Miller. Let's just start there. And maybe he comes back, fingers crossed for that. But operating without Von Miller, still able to create a pass rush. Malik Reed doing better this year. Bradley Chubb elevating in his role. 2 fantastic safeties. The Broncos have been known for great safety plays for a long, long time. And you're getting better play out of a guy like Josie Jewell at the middle linebacker position. So B plus, well coached. They fight for their coach. And that side of the ball doesn't have the inconsistency issues that we see on the offensive side.
Yeah, I like it. I think Kareem Jackson, specifically the last couple of weeks, Ryan's former teammate, coming up towards the line of scrimmage, has really played well, and playing that physical role that we kind of felt like was lacking a little bit early in the season. I look at all the injuries up front. When you look at when they went into this pass game with no Mike Purcell, no Shelby Harris, no Jarrell Casey, no Von Miller. I mean, the list goes on and on. To continue, and we mentioned the batted passes earlier, that's something that's taught amongst the group, and Bill Kollar has been one that's been great at that in his career. And I think they have had those moments where guys that you don't know their name if you're not a diehard Broncos fan have made plays. And I think it is admirable for this defense. So I think Cecil's right with a B plus. I'll stick with, I don't like to agree with him, but I'll go B plus as well.
Now, I'm going to say C, but knowing that, like James and Cecil said, you're grading on a curve. I mean, to go against Julio Jones, who said, I don't look at cornerbacks because none of them can cover me. I mean, that's the mentality of this player. That's insane. And you did it without starters, and you still had an excellent interception by Justin Simmons. I mean, he's fantastic. So it'll show as a C because you gave up so many points. But they really had an A game. I agree, James. Josie Jewell had his best game as a Bronco. Alexander Johnson continues to be consistent for the Broncos. And one more thing, people don't know about those batted passes that James talked about. That's a risk that defensive linemen take. If you're going to jump in the air with a man like me with my hands right on your chest, you're taking a risk of pain to sacrifice for your team. And they continue to make it and get it done.
So do you enjoy that, Ryan? Do you enjoy when a guy puts his hands up?
Loved it, but I never let him jump. I mean, I'm not saying I ever hold, but if you tug down when somebody jumps up, you can't tell what happened.
So Ryan,
never
would
helped.
you still give the Broncos defense a C looking at all 8 games and not just Sunday's game?
Yeah, I give them a B. Just looking at all 8 games, I think they performed admirably. I do believe they've gotten fooled at times, but again, Michael Ojemudia wasn't supposed to play any meaningful football this year. He's a 3rd-round corner out of the Big Ten. First of all, a corner out of the Big Ten. Not sure the last time that happened. Second, a 3rd-round guy doesn't really happen. You're not looking for him to be a starter. Well, he was a starter in week 2, and oh, by the way, he's seen 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks already. So I really think they're performing admirably. They're going to pass my class.
Okay.
Well, and I have to say that I'm not going to be on Pat Shurmur's Christmas card list, but Ryan brings it up. It's that consistent effort that you get from the defense that gives them such a good grade, and the understanding of what the talent is for the most part. And Vic Fangio's changed some things. He has blitzed more. He has played a little bit more man, although he should have played more against Atlanta. We're not seeing that on the offense. We're seeing that disconnect where you're not using your talent correctly. Defensively, that's no problem there.
Okay, well, really quick, Ryan, he just mentioned Michael Ojemudia. With how many injuries and obstacles this team has had to deal with, we are seeing a lot more of the rookies than I think any of us expected prior to the season getting underway. So really quick, how would you grade this entire Broncos 2020 draft class? Ryan, let's start with you.
I give it an A. It's incredibly hard to jump into the NFL. I mean, you're learning everything, and I know it sounds silly, but now you're getting your groceries. A lot of these guys come from training tables, You're getting your cable set up, your internet, you're handling tickets, you're handling money requests from family members, from strangers. And oh, by the way, you've got to play against the best players you've ever played against. So to see the entire rookie class get so much playing time and really advance, I look at Albert O, who left yesterday with an injury, but he has gotten better every game. Noah Fant, isn't a rookie, but he really has gotten better throughout the game. And if you look at Drew Lock, he really is still a rookie, right? He has yet to play a full 16 games. He's improved. But KJ Hamler's been fantastic. And you've never heard a complaint out of Michael Ojemudia either. You haven't heard any of that diva-style play. He wants the opportunities. He wants to be a part of the team, and you got to love that.
I'll say really quick on this, there were teams around the league that did not want to rely on rookies because of this offseason. And who's playing the majority of the snaps in Denver are a lot of rookies that didn't get an offseason. Compound that with everything Ryan listed about how hard it is in your first season in the NFL. I give them an A as well because they are going in with one arm tied behind their back with the offseason that they had.
Cecil?
Easy A for me because of that talent. And you're seeing it come through. Again, not consistently on the offense. Sorry, Pat Shurmur. But once that happens, watch out.